This video will show you how to take a random sample in SPSS. You might wonder, why would we ever want to take a random sample in SPSS? Most of the time, we are working with data that is already a random sample. For example, the data set we're using here, the GSS 2006, is a random sample of individuals in the United States. Sometimes we want to take a random sample for preliminary analyses of a very large data set. Sometimes you might decide that you want to take a random sample because you have a data set that is very, very large and you have too much power. Nonetheless, I'm going to demonstrate how to take a random sample in SPSS. The first thing you want to do is click on Data from the main menu. So if you go up here, click on Data. And then I want you to go all the way down to Select Cases. The dialog box that opens up shows you all of your variable names, and I have already changed these to reflect the variable names, not the variable labels, and I've placed these in alphabetical order. You're going to see 4 choices that will select a subset of cases via various methods. By default, the All Cases button is checked. That's this radio button right here, All Cases. At any point, if you want to go back to your entire data set, you will need to select this radio button. We're going to click on the Random Sample of Cases button. And then click on the Sample button that's highlighted in blue right beneath that radio button option. A new dialog box will pop up, and SPSS provides 2 options to create a random sample. Usually the percentage option is the easiest and makes the most sense. So we're going to keep that first one selected. This is the exactly a number of cases from the first however many cases, but we want approximately a percentage. Now we're going to type a number in this box to tell SPSS what percentage of all cases we want. We're going to type the number 10. This indicates that we want 10% of the cases selected. Click Continue, click Paste, and your syntax editor will open up, and all you need to do is highlight your syntax and click Run. Let's take a look at the output window. The output window shows your syntax running, and it has indicated that it has run and there's not an error. So if you flip back and forth between your syntax window and your output window, you're going to see that the output window doesn't really provide any more information. That's your syntax, that's your output. The reason that this is because we haven't asked SPSS to produce a model. We've only told SPSS to consider 10% of the cases. So if you want to be sure that SPSS did this, the only real way to do it is to run an analysis or look at the data viewer. If you click on the data viewer, you can go here, and you're going to see that SPSS has crossed off about 90% of the cases. So if it's crossed off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are all crossed off, and then 9 is considered, and 12 will be considered in case 20. Those ones that are not crossed off are the cases that will be included in any analysis that we run. So that's a quick way to see if SPSS did what you want it to do. Now that we have a 10% random sample of cases, let's ask SPSS to report the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum, the maximum, and the standard error of the mean for a few different variables. You've probably done this before, so you might need to refer back to some old notes. But let's go ahead and do that for 2 variables, education and siblings, so EDUC and SIBS. So we're going to ask SPSS to give us the mean and the standard deviation, minimum, maximum, etc. So what we want to do is we want to go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Frequencies, and we're going to go ahead and do this just like we would if we had a full sample. we're going to put eDuke, and we're going to put SIBS over here in the variable box, and click on statistics. And we want it to produce a frequency distribution, and so we're going to get the mean, and we're also going to get the standard deviation, and we're going to ask for the minimum and the maximum, and that should be good. You can also ask for the standard error, the mean, other measures of central tendency or measures of dispersion. Go ahead and click continue. Paste your syntax, go to your syntax viewer, and run this syntax. So you already have run this piece of syntax above it, and now you're going to run this second piece of syntax. And here we are. You can see that we have 425 cases for the variable eDuke, and we have 281 cases for the variable SIBS. And it's produced a frequency table for both of those variables. The first one is eDuke, and the second one is SIBS, so education, number of years completed, and then siblings, number of brothers and sisters that the respondent has. It also is presenting measures of central tendency. Mean is up here in this box, so you have 13.32 is the average year of school completed for these 425 individuals. 3.83 is the average number of brothers and sisters for these 281 individuals. The minimum is 0 for both of these, and then the maximum is 20 for the highest year of school completed, and the maximum is 33 for the number of brothers and sisters. So if somebody has 33 brothers and sisters, that is a lot. Okay, so now what you can do is you can go back through and follow the same steps and take a sample that's 25% or 50% or 75%. And when you're ready to go back to the full sample, just click all cases. So you can go to data, select cases. Right now we're looking at 10%. Let's change it to 25%. Click continue, paste, go ahead and run this. And we're telling it at first use all and then go all the way through and get 25%. You can double check that this happened by going to the data viewer, and you'll see there's a few more cases. And if you scroll down, it looks like about a quarter are selected. And then you can repeat the same thing here. The nice thing about the syntax editor is that you can copy and paste. So you can take your syntax here where you ask for the variables eDuke and SIBS, and you can paste it right here and just run it again without having to go through all the menus. So make sure you do run this piece of syntax first. That way SPSS has 25%, and then run this piece of syntax right here to go ahead and get the measures. So now we have 25%. We're up to 1,153 cases for education, and then 765 cases for siblings. And you can see that our minimums are the same, but our maximums have changed for number of brothers and sisters. And our means changed a little bit, 13.36 and 3.75. If you go back up, you can see 13.32 and 3.83. So you can kind of compare those in the standard deviations as you go through. And they should be pretty similar. After all, it is a random sample. So everything should be very close. If you and I were doing this with the exact same data set, we might get different answers for 50%, 75%, 25%, etc., because it's taking a random sample every single time. So even though our answers will be close, they will not be exact. When you're ready to go back to the full data set, just go to Data, select Cases, click All Cases, paste, and make sure you run that piece of syntax in your syntax editor. So run that, and you're back at your full sample. The only thing that you will see in your output window is your syntax pop-up. If you want to go and check in the data editor, you will see every single case is selected. None of them are crossed out.